pathogen is an invader that causes disease.
The first line of defense is a nonspecific defense mechanism. It involves skin and mucous membranes and their secretions. If the virus is first blocked by the skin, if it does enter through the nose or the mouth, the mucus will try to block the virus from entering the body any further. If it does enter the body, it attempts to leave the body when we cough, sneeze, or blow our nose. 2.
The second line of defense, also a nonspecific defense mechanism, is also known as cells and chemicals, which consists of phagocytic white blood cells, antimicrobial proteins, and the inflammatory response. The inflammatory response is when cells release chemical alarms and redness, heat, swelling, and pain. Chemicals attract more white blood cells than pathogens are consumed and tissues heal.
The third line of defense is a specific defense mechanism. It involves lymphocytes and antibodies. Antibodies are Y-shaped proteins found on certain white blood cells with 2 identical antigen binding sites. Bonding the antigens slows or halts further infection.
Lymphocytes are white blood cells that recognize specific invaders, which is why they are part of the specific immunity.
Nonspecific immunity is providing general barriers to infection, meaning they can't tell the differences between the invaders. Specific immunity is when the immune system develops a specific response against intruders. It will recognize invaders and defend that specific invader.
First off, the macrophage displays antigens. Then the helper T cell is activated, and the helper T cell is sent to activate the cytotoxic T cell and the B cell. The cytotoxic T cell attacks cells that are infected. The B cell helps with the secretion of antibodies by plasma cells. The memory cell is the lymphocyte that stays in your body for a long time after the invader comes in, so we can remember that invader.
I know you! First, the B cell finds an antigen which matches its receptors. Then it waits until it is activated by the helper T cell. Then the B cell divides in order to produce plasma and memory cells. Plasma cells then produce antibodies that attach to the current type of invader. The eater cells eat the intruders that the antibodies attach to. If the same intruder tries to attach again, the memory cell helps the immune system to activate much faster.
Go eat him. Okay. B cells are formed and continue to mature in the bone marrow. Antigens activate only those B cells with receptors that fit. Activated B cells grow, divide, and develop into plasma cells. The clones of many plasma cells secretes antibodies. Specific antibody molecules then become secreted by plasma cells.
Antigens are also known as antibody generators. They are any substance capable of triggering an immune system response. They activate the immune system. The antibodies are Y-shaped proteins found on certain white blood cells. They have 2 identical antigen binding sites where the antigens bond, which slows or halts further infection.
T cells develop in the bone marrow like all lymphocytes, but T cells specifically mature in the thymus gland. Cell-mediated immunity, or how the T cells work in our bodies. The infected cells display antigens on the surface of the cell. The matching T cells bind to these antigens, which activate the T cells to divide into clones, which develop into killer or cytotoxic T cells. Killer T cells then puncture infected cells, destroying them.